I feel as though my interpersonal and communication skills have definitely developed over the course of this semester. I am happy where my communication skills are going into next year's full-time placement, where I know that they'll definitely further develop. At the beginning of this semester, during the first day of initial interviews, so our second visit, my partner and I probably could have communicated better beforehand to make sure we were on the same page and work out who was doing and saying what during the initial interviews, because we did have a bit of an unsuccessful experience. So after that unsuccessful initial interview, we realised how important our communication is together. I kind of think we assumed we knew what each other were doing, but it is so important to talk about and debrief before we go ahead and implement something. So my partner and I would message constantly outside of placement hours, as well as talking during our placement. We'll just talk about what we're doing the next week, and what each of us needed to organise or get done before that Wednesday. It made it so much easier and gave me more confidence going to placement each week, knowing we were working at a team and had a plan beforehand, rather than wasting time when we were at placement trying to decide what to do and get done. So there was 4 of us at our placement altogether. There was 4 students. So we set up a Facebook group with the other students in it. It was a private group just for us. So we would discuss on there different things. So we worked together to bring our residents together and created a garden and a vegetable patch. So we used the Facebook group to mainly speak about that. We'd communicate to each other about what our residents wanted in the garden. For example, my resident wanted carrots and tomatoes, and so I would let the other group know that. And so their resident also wanted tomatoes, so we kind of discussed what we would put in the garden so that we didn't double up on plants or vegetables. We would also all debrief in the morning when we arrived at placement. The 4 of us would meet up, and also at the end of the day we would check on what each other were doing and what they were planning on doing with their residents during the day, or what they had done and what had or hadn't worked. And we also helped each other with suggestions and ideas and gave each other feedback, which was really helpful. My assertiveness and communication with other health professionals, such as the nurses, the OTAs and the physios, has improved. They're the main health professionals that we spoke with while at the placement. We didn't get to actually meet our OT. At first I found them to be intimidating. I think because I'm only a student, I kind of devalue myself and it ruins my confidence. Also that they know the residents better than I do, and so I found that intimidating as well, and they know the facility really well. This led me to not talk as much to them for the first couple of visits. I wouldn't really go and seek them out for information or ask them questions. I would just talk to them if they spoke to me. But after the second visit, I feel like I needed to talk to them. I think my reaction was like this because of my anxiety around new people. I do get shy and I do worry about what people think of me. I think a bit too much, which I need to work on. I found I just had to pick up the courage and break the ice. And I found after I just was confident and asked them lots of questions about the residents and the facility, I got so much more information that I might have not have known otherwise, and they ended up being really helpful people to know. So after initially just talking to one person, which was the OTA that actually showed us around, I felt more confident to reach out to the physio or the other OTAs, and also the nurse, who we didn't really speak to as much, but it was good to get her input of how our residents had been during the week, etc. Once I became familiar with the facility as well, my assertiveness and communication skills kind of came naturally, just because I was naturally more confident and not doubting myself. We would always inform the staff and OTAs and nurses what we were planning to do, and whether they thought it was a good idea or if we should change anything or if there was any risks that we hadn't seen that they might. For example, when we took our residents to the cafe, we communicated with the OTAs, the secretary, and the nurse to ensure they all knew what we were planning to do, why we were doing it, where we were going, and then it was also good for us to know the policies and procedures around taking residents out and what time we had to be back for. For example, there was a medication round at 2 p.m. and another day there's a specific time for lunch, and then there was also a specific activity that one of our residents wanted to join in with, so we had to make sure we were back for that. This communication made me feel more like I was working as a team, and it's made me feel a bit more optimistic for fieldwork next year, and that I realised I just need to be confident from the very beginning. I feel positive going forward in the future for this, and I think when I go on prac next year, I just need to build up the courage to talk to people and ask lots of questions, because that's the only way I'm going to find out. And I know that now. And I just need to work on my anxiety around meeting new people, because I think people will always think the worst in me, even though that's just my negative anxiety talking. So I think asking lots of questions will help me feel more confident and actually find my way a lot quicker.